welcome to the Metaverse Insider's interview series. My name is Josh, and in today's episode, we speak to German Heller, the founder and CEO of 3DAR, a virtual reality film and animation studio. In part one of our conversation, we discuss 3DAR's involvement in the metaverse space and how it has evolved from its inception 19 years ago. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, German. Really appreciate your time. So to start off our conversation, could you please provide us with a brief background to yourself and how 3DAR came to be?
Of course, yeah. Well, I founded 3DAR a long time ago. It's 19 years now, and I've been working on it as a CEO since the very beginning. But I've been doing all kinds of things, like from producing many projects, directing many others. I don't know. I mean, when you're creating a company, there is very little you get to miss from I mean from you. I mean all kinds of things in the company, and but mainly lately it's been experiential director, then evolving into VR and XR director. Now I'm running the development of a mixed reality game that it's our main project now, and we're very excited about working in these new technologies. So that's it.
Oh, exciting stuff, I have to say. Well, regarding these projects, could you please tell us a bit about 3DAR's experience in creating immersive content for the metaverse?
For sure. So, I mean, since the very beginning of the VR, we were very excited about it because we just create content and experiences, and a medium that can allow you to really transport you into another dimension like VR promises to be. It was always very exciting. So even before the appearance of the Oculus DK1, we were working on a short film about the future of VR, and it was sort of like a dystopic, apocalyptic kind of take, but still, I mean, it was just narrative fantasy. So, but about robots coming together, in a, it was the plot was robots were controlled through virtual reality game players, and that was this really dystopian future that seems not that distant with this new AI uh, blooming, but yeah, we started there. Then when we got the headset in our hands, we quickly shifted to building a narrative experience there, like what we really wanted to see inside the medium. So we sort of designed a way of telling a story with diorama models and little characters. That project was Gloomy Eyes. I think it was very much the first in its type. Got a lot of awards in many festivals in Annecy, South by Southwest, in Paris, all over the world, and got to be kind of like a reference when it comes to narrative storytelling. And that was around 2018. And then 2 years later, we released another XR piece that was with some interactivity, with better use of the technology, like designed for the Quest 2, the wireless headset. So we were playing with hand tracking in another little story, which was very much about music and combining like all the tools that the headset gives you to really create an inner journey that you do in the headset, and kind of like connect to landscapes. I mean, it was a narrative story, but it was very much like an inner journey that was through the senses, through the music, through the visuals. And then what we're working on is a mixed reality game. So we shifted to games. It still has a very big narrative influence in terms of like character building, like the kind of animation. We come from a long time of doing animation, but I'm a lifelong gamer, so I've been like my whole childhood was about games and football mainly, and and now we're working on this game that is mixed reality. That's very fun. It's an experience that you share with other players. You see the other players, you see little characters running around, and that's pretty much what we're very excited these days, which is like shared experiences and bringing the imagination and the fantasy to life in animation without really like turning back to the world itself. It's more like integrating uh, the metaverse in the universe, you could say. But I mean, yeah, and it's about these crazy little eggs that run from all kinds of difficulties. It has a very random sense of humor that I love.
Oh, brilliant. It's got a proper uniqueness to it. And I must say, I really do like your art style. So, how does 3Dart approach designing and developing content for these virtual and augmented reality platforms? It must present quite a few challenges when applying these new technologies.
Totally. Yeah. So first thing I can say is that no matter the technology you're using, no matter how innovative you get, like you can do everything with AI and the most advanced like robotics and everything. Like if you don't have a soul, you don't have an interesting character, you don't have a story behind it, it's always going to come short for us at some point. So it's like it all starts in the character, and even before that, in the feeling, in the mood that you are. Like I would say, like I did Paperbirds, right? Paperbirds was a very sensitive, delicate piece about the inner world, about the an inner journey, like really deep and it had this particular tone of some a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of melancholy. So after I done that, it's like, okay, turn the page, like something else. And this is so different, and so different in every way, in the feeling, in the mood that it transports you to. So I was feeling more like I want to have a laugh, I want to have fun, I want to, I don't know, random stuff, like just like. And then from then on, like we started thinking about characters that can live in this mood, in this feeling, in this like personality identity. And then the first character came up, that was a little egg that was like kind of like, I don't know what to do, like, or that there was a lot of, and we did a lot of art around it, really like created a little short film about these eggs, like a short film. In it wasn't the short film; it was like more like some style frames that were not telling a little bit of a story that was about this egg that was a buffoon that all of a sudden freaks out and accidentally kills the king, and then he's like, "Oh fuck! Now I'm screwed." So, and then we kept on with the character building, and that was like almost 3 years ago, like when we started working on that. I was still working on Paperbirds, but I was already feeling like, okay, I just needed some air from that, and started working with my brother, that's also a business partner in the company, in, okay, let's just try to nail this next thing that's coming. And once we had the character, then we started creating just like circumstances around it, because that's in a way, it's all very natural and it comes very organic. When you have a character, you look at the character's face, and if the character is well done, he's gonna tell you his problems. He's gonna tell you like, "Oh man, no, this is it's tough. Life is tough." And then it's like, "Oh, why is it tough?" Well, there's these robots. They keep harassing me. Like, and it doesn't make sense at the beginning, but then it kind of like it started making sense after a while. Like, okay, and then okay, there's an alien robot invasion, and it all comes down from like you just keep pulling the thread that started with this mood that comes with the character later on, and then you have a little bit of a world, and then the world also speaks, and then you have the villain, and also the villains, they tell you what they want, and all of a sudden you have a story there. That's how I work, like, and how some of the people here, the team works, like, and I don't know if that's the best way, the only way, or a wrong way, but that's the way that we learned by experience, really. And uh and yeah, and that's from, sorry that I might not even answer your question about the technology. Okay, that's the life, the soul of the project. And then it comes like, okay, so what's the best medium to bring this world to life? I mean, it could be a book, when you see like this ex suffering and then struggling so much, with all this attitude of them. Like, check these stickers out. Like, we did these stickers just for inspiration. So I mean, you have this one, you have this, that is this is a like a kung fu apprentice, that is like he's being forced to learn kung fu because his parents felt like it was the right thing to do. So we create these characters, and that fits us with inspiration. And then again, going back to the medium, to the technology, which is probably the most relevant for more like a metaverse, or and it comes down to, okay, what's the coolest thing we can do with this? Like, what would be really the killer thing, that, I mean, the best? And it's like, of course you want to see these guys running around in the real world and interacting, and you want to see your friends next to you. And first, like, the very first prototype that we did like 2 years ago, it was a strategy game. It was VR. It was kind of like Moss, the little mouse game. And it's like, okay, it's all right, but I don't feel the adrenaline. I don't crack out laughing. What's missing? It's a little dark. So we did a whole prototype that we could have released as a game, and here it is, XK. But it didn't feel like it was going to be the hit that we wanted, or it didn't really represent the potential of these guys. Like, I mean, it wasn't honoring them enough. So we went back. Okay, so how can we make this different? So it brings a little closer this mood. So then we switched, and we did a second prototype that was more like a platformer, and the X would run kind of like Super Mario, and they had like, uh I mean, they were attacked. It was more adrenalinic. We were trying to work with a platformer that was like a side, like Sonic, like Mario, like that kind of thing, in VR, with depth, with immersivity and all. And then it would have like a runner section. At some point you would come through a portal, and then it would be more like a runner, like Subway Surfer, but also in VR, and things would come to you, and then you would jump. So it was like kind of like playing around these two modes. It was better. It was definitely more fun, and people would, it's cool, yeah, yeah. People would like it. Still not feeling that, okay, yeah, but what is it that we have to add? Maybe gestures, so you can do parkour with the X, and then they jump, and they do like, and that was an idea. What is it that's missing? And still like researching, okay, what is it that's missing? Because there's something missing. And then March last year is like mixed reality SDK. That's it. That's that. Like, completely shifted. Let's make this mixed reality. First thing we did was to add the pass through to the game that we already had. So we added that, basically the same platformer and runner, but you could see what was behind. Like, you put on the headset, and you see black and white because it was the Quest 2, and then you would be able to play the game, but still have the awareness of where you are, people around you, and stuff. And that was like, I mean, only by adding that, the feeling changes completely. But I really need to play this with somebody else. Like, I mean, it's like I'm having a laugh seeing at my egg. What if I can see another egg there, and then we can just try to save ourselves together? And then it's like, okay, we got it. We have to do this multiplayer mixed reality. It's clear. then we did that. We changed the prototype and we started playing around that. And he was like, okay, yeah, but I keep falling from these platforms and dying all the time. It's like it's not that much fun to be just falling and to the floor. So it's like, well, these eggs, they could slap each other, so the first thing we did was just to have them like laughing like this, like fighting, and just like whenever you had two eggs close to each other, they would go like this, like, I don't want to touch you, but get out of here. And then the kung fu element came into play, and it's like, okay, this X needs to fight, and then we need the enemies, and then the robots, and that's how the story also got infused with what the technology or the game was asking for. And then we decided to work on this, like, really just like square robots that they were like just there to harass you for no reason. And then brainstorming around levels. So it's like definitely not a linear thing in which, like, oh, I'm sitting at home there with my pipe and I have a vision and then I execute it. That's the extreme opposite of this. This is more like just trying what works, what doesn't, how do I feel. And this is what we've been doing also in Paperverse, in Gloomy Eyes, and in the other projects too. So it's a more like an artisan's development in where the process really fits itself. And yeah, it's very exciting because you go along discovering, and all of a sudden you have a good idea, and then you try, you implement it. It's fun.
Oh, what an interesting trajectory. It's quite a bold step going to the domain of mixed reality, but it's a very respectful one, considering the direction it's going in. So you managed to maintain the organic process of creation whilst exploring these different mediums. This really does demonstrate that you guys are aware of the transformative potential of mixed reality. Well, that's a wrap for part one of our interview with German Heller, the founder and CEO of 3DAR. Be sure to stay tuned for weekly updates in the industry and content covering all things Metaverse. Follow the Metaverse Insider on Twitter and LinkedIn, and visit metaverseinsider.tech for all our content. Thank you for joining us, and until next time.